Think you know the greatest footballers of all time? You might have a list in your head right now, but let's face it, some legends get all the spotlight, while others are completely overlooked. We're talking about players who had crazy talent, insane skills, and game-changing moments, but somehow missed out on the fame they deserved. Forget your usual Messi or Ronaldo debate. This is all about the most underrated players in football history. Stick around, because you're about to discover legends you probably didn't even know were this good. Before we kick off, make sure to subscribe to GOAT Blender for the best in football stories, epic highlights, and the debates every fan loves. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and let's hear what you think. Number 5. Gheorghe Hagi. Alright, first up, we've got a guy who didn't just play the game, he owned it. Gheorghe Hagi. Romanian fans didn't nickname him Regele or the King for nothing. Hagi was a magician on the field, and not just any magician. He was the kind that could turn a game upside down with one flick of his foot. With his insane dribbling, pinpoint passes, and a shot so powerful he could practically break the net, it's no wonder they also called him the Maradona of the Carpathians. Hagi was a true playmaker back when playmakers were the stars of the show. Imagine it. Players like Messi, Neymar, or Alexis Sanchez back in the day would have had a similar role, free to roam, create, and work their magic without worrying too much about defending. But Hagi, he was already doing all of that and more in the 80s and 90s. The man scored an unreal 276 goals across his club career, won the UEFA Cup, snagged 7 league titles, and every Romanian fan out there will tell you he's a national treasure. Now here's the crazy part. Hagi was so good that fans and players alike put him in the same league as Zinedine Zidane. Just think about that. But because he didn't quite click in Spain like he did in Turkey with Galatasaray, his name somehow never made it onto those best of the best lists. When asked why he never won the Ballon d'Or, he said it straight up. Because I was born in Romania. And honestly, he had a point. At Galatasaray though, Hagi was unstoppable. He was like a fireball on the pitch, passionate, sometimes even a little reckless, but absolutely brilliant. Hakan Şükür, one of his teammates, admitted that he actually tears up watching tapes of their best moments together. That's the kind of impact Hagi had. So next time someone's talking about the football legends, throw in Gheorghe Hagi's name, because this guy was the real deal. Number 4. Michael Laudrup. Next on the list is a player who defined the art of passing in football, Michael Laudrup. When you think of legendary midfield creators, the usual names like Zidane, Pirlo, or Xavi come up, right? But here's the thing, Laudrup deserves a spot right up there, maybe even above a few of those guys. Let's get into why Laudrup was an absolute mastermind on the pitch. This guy had such insane control over the ball that he hardly even needed to look down while dribbling. It was like the ball was glued to his feet. And his vision? Unmatched. Imagine seeing plays before they even happened and delivering the perfect pass every single time. Laudrup's passes had that magic touch. It was as if he could slow down time and pace the ball exactly where his teammates needed it. He played alongside legends like Romario, Figo, and Raul, and almost all of them have gone on record saying he was the best player they'd ever seen. Let me tell you a story that sums up how much of a game changer Michael Laudrup was. During his time at Barcelona, he was part of the squad that destroyed Real Madrid with a 5-0 win. Then he made the switch and joined Real Madrid. And guess what happened? Madrid turned around and thrashed Barcelona 5-0. You can't make this stuff up. Having Laudrup was like having a cheat code for winning big games back in the early 90s. Laudrup's transfer alone changed the balance of power in La Liga. Barcelona owned the league for 4 years straight with him, from 91 to 94. But the moment he left, Madrid swooped in and took the title. And here's the kicker. Even Pep Guardiola, who played with him, said the Ballon d'Or was meaningless because Laudrup never won it. Just let that sink in. The way he controlled the game, the Ballon d'Or should have been his. But it wasn't. And honestly, it's one of the biggest mysteries in football. People often say he didn't shine internationally, but let's be real. Look at Zidane. He had Henry up front, Vieira beside him, and a defense stacked with legends like Desailly and Thuram. Laudrup, on the other hand, was playing for Denmark with only a few big names like his brother and Schmeichel. Yet he still stood out as one of the best playmakers of his time. If he'd been born in a football-crazy country, he'd probably be the first name on everyone's list. Number 3. Davor Šuker. Now, let's talk about a guy who defined what it means to be an elite goal scorer, Davor Šuker. He's hands down one of the greatest Croatian players of all time. Yet for some reason, his name rarely comes up when people talk about Croatian football legends. It's wild considering what he achieved. Šuker put Croatia on the global football map in the 1998 World Cup, a country with less than 5 million people, and he leads them all the way to 3rd place. Not only that, but he also took home the Golden Boot as the tournament's top scorer. This was a guy who could find the net from anywhere with his smooth touch, pinpoint accuracy, and flawless control over every shot. When Šuker struck the ball, he didn't just shoot, he painted a masterpiece. His international record is crazy impressive too. 46 goals in 71 games for Croatia. And he wasn't just a national hero, his club career was also stellar. At Real Madrid, he bagged a European Cup and a league title, finishing with a whopping 240 goals and 527 club matches. Šuker had this rare ability to pull off goals that looked impossible, making it all look effortless. When you think about all-time great strikers who could score in their sleep, Davor Šuker's name has to be in the conversation. If he's not, people are missing out on one of the most skilled goal scorers the game has ever seen. Number 2. JJ Okocha. Now we've got to talk about the showman himself, JJ Okocha. This guy wasn't just good, he was one of the most skillful players the game has ever seen. Honestly, if we're talking about raw skill, Okocha was right up there with Zidane and Ronaldinho. Yeah, trophies might make those names shine brighter, but Okocha had that X factor that made you fall in love with football all over again. Okocha's game was like a highlight reel every time he touched the ball. He'd pull off insane dribbles, impossible passes, and those trademark elastico moves that defenders just could not handle. People sometimes focus on his flashy goals and tricks. But here's the thing, he wasn't just about the big moments. Those who watched him live will tell you, it was the little things that made him special. His vision, his control, the way he could set the rhythm of a game. Okocha had the kind of technical ability that's almost impossible to teach. And imagine if he'd been at a club like Manchester United or Arsenal instead of Bolton. As a left-sided midfielder back then, he was going toe-to-toe with legends like Overmars and Ryan Giggs. But despite all his talent, he played for a team that never got close to the top of the league. So he never got the spotlight he deserved. Honestly, Haaland wouldn't even be a thing in the Premier League if JJ was still around today. He was big, fast, could score out of nowhere, and didn't even need perfect support to make magic happen. Let's be real, Okocha wasn't flawless. He lost the ball, he took risks, and yeah, there were games where he was more style than substance. But that was part of what made him so exciting. He took chances, brought that unpredictability, and played with a joy that was infectious. Every time he smiled, it was like he reminded everyone that football was meant to be fun. Number 1. Ronald Koeman. Let's give some serious credit to Ronald Koeman, a guy who was so much more than just a solid defender. If you're building a dream team of legends, Koeman was a must-have. People often forget, but this man was a complete footballer, strong, smart, and with a passing game that could rival any top playmaker. And as for his shot, absolute dynamite. Koeman wasn't just defending, he was out there changing games with his feet. The man scored 238 goals in 685 games. Think about that for a second. He's the highest scoring defender of all time. Even in the 1994 European Cup, now the Champions League, he was the top scorer. That's the kind of player we're talking about here. One of the things that set Koeman apart was his unreal free kick ability. When he stepped up for a set piece, it wasn't just a shot, it was a laser. Opponents knew, keepers feared it, and fans loved it. And he didn't just bring that firepower to club games. In 1998, he led the Netherlands to their only European Championship title, bringing that same intensity and skill. Not to mention, he powered PSV Eindhoven to their only European Cup victory that very same year. Then there's his success with Barcelona, where he added another European Cup and stacked up 8 league titles throughout his career. For a defender, that's some serious hardware. Koeman didn't just play the game, he shaped it, and his legacy as one of the greatest attacking defenders still stands. People might overlook him, but true fans know Ronald Koeman was a game changer, a goal scorer, and one of the sharpest defenders to ever play the game. If you're picking legends, Koeman has to be in that lineup, no question. Who do you think should have made this list? Who's that hidden gem in football history that doesn't get the credit they deserve? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if this video hits 500 likes, I'll be dropping another one soon. The most overrated football managers. Trust me, it's going to be a good one, so make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to stay tuned. Don't forget to share this video with your mates, and as always, keep it locked for more football content that you won't want to miss. Catch you in the next one.